Good morning, class. This video is regarding example 1 in section 8-3 on, or excuse me, 8-4 on solving radical equations. In the first example, we were given this formula where the speed of a boat is relative to how long the water line is. And what they mean by the water line is when a boat is traveling through the water, it leaves a wake behind it. And that wake length is uniform relative to how fast the boat is going. So I'm not so much worried that you guys understand that, but how we solve this equation. Okay, so the formula says that h, or the speed of the boat, equals 1.34 times the square root of the length. So those two variables are directly related by this 1.34 in the square root. So we're going to substitute in the values. We were given that the boat is going 9 miles an hour, and so we want to know how long is the wake coming out behind that boat if the boat's going 9 miles an hour. So the way we're going to solve this is we want to isolate the variable, right? Just like we always were doing. Before, there wasn't a square root symbol here. It just might have been 1.34 times m. Well, how would we get that m by itself? Well, the first thing we would have done is we would have divided both sides by 1.34. Well, this is the same idea here. Well, the only difference is the radical, or excuse me, the variable is underneath the radicand, or the radical symbol. So let's go ahead and divide both sides by 1.34. Divide both sides by 1.34. Okay, so right here, these 1.34s are going to cancel out. So we're just going to be left with 9 over 1.34 equals the square root of L. Okay, so once we do that, now we want to evaluate this 9 divided by 1.34. Okay, and if we punch that into a calculator, we're just going to do 9 divided by 1.34, and that's going to give us a pretty long decimal term here, 6.7164, and it goes on and on, but we're only going to need to do this to the nearest 100th, so equals the square root of L. Okay, so now here comes the money line here. Okay, we're going to get rid of this square root symbol. Whenever we want to get rid of square root symbols, we do that by taking the opposite, right? We're always doing the opposite when we're solving these equations. Okay, so we're going to square both sides, or square all the terms. Okay, so when we do square of a square root, what's left is it just gets rid of the square root symbol. So we're just left with L. Whoops, let's do that on the other side. Equals 6.7164 squared, which gives us, and you're just going to punch that into your calculator, and that's going to give us 45.11 and a bunch of extra stuff. After we're done rounding it, it's 45.1100 and more stuff. We want to round to the nearest hundredth. Find your number, look next door. 5 or greater, add 1 more. 4 or less, let it rest. Well, L equals 45.11. I believe our measure was feet. I can't remember what it was in the book, but 45.11, and that's how we solve that equation.